All right, I'm working a review on rational expressions and equations. This section is on multiplying and dividing. So with this right here, I would like to simplify as much as I can before I actually multiply. So looking at this first fraction, we can simplify x squared over x to the sixth by subtracting the exponents. We get x to the negative 4. And so since it's a negative 4, we're going to put it on the bottom. So this is going to be 2/5 with x to the 4th on bottom. All right, we can do the same thing with y's. 1 minus 2 is y to the negative 1, so we've got y to the 1 on bottom. Times, there's nothing about this fraction that simplifies, so let's just rewrite it. 25x to the 12th over 16y to the 5th. And then we'll just multiply straight across. So 2 times 25 is 50, x to the 12th over 5 times 16, which don't know that off the top of my head. But let's go ahead and do x to the 4th, y to the 6th. 16 times 5 is 80. All right, so now we have 50 over 80 simplifies to 5/8. We can subtract these x's and we get x to the positive 7. So that's going to go on top because it's positive, and then y to the 6th on bottom. So our simplified expression is 5x to the 7th over 8y to the 6th. All right, number 5. Same thing, we need to simplify before we try to multiply. The simplifying here will be factoring, so x squared minus 81 is a quadratic, so it can factor, and then also x squared plus 11x plus 18 can factor. So I'm going to go down here. We're going to have x times x minus 9 plus 9 over x minus 9 times x over 2 parentheses x times x. We need to multiply to 18, add to 11, so plus 9 plus 2. This first fraction, we can go ahead and cross off the x minus 9s. And then if you notice here, it's jumping across, but because this is multiply, we can also cross off the x plus 9s. So our final answer is going to be x over x plus 2. All right, number 6. Same thing, except we have division. So we can factor the bottom of this first fraction. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this x plus 8. And I'm going to factor the bottom. To get x squared, we're going to do x times x. We need to multiply to get negative 8, but add to give 7, so plus 8 and minus 1. When you have division with a rational or a fraction, you're going to change this to multiply, and then you're going to flip the second fraction. So this is really going to be x minus 1 on top over 2x on bottom. And now we'll cross off. So we've got x plus 8s that cross off, x minus 1s that cross off, so our final answer is just a 2x on the bottom. You can't have a blank top, so the final answer will be 1 over 2x. All right, number 7, same thing. This first one can factor, so I'm going to do 2 parentheses. To get x squared, we've got x times x minus 5 plus 5 over x plus 3. We're going to change the division to a multiply, and then we're going to flip the second fraction. I'm going to go ahead and write out x plus 3 squared twice. X plus 3, x plus 3. This side note is not the same thing as x squared plus 9. You don't just get to square both of them, you need to write it twice. All right, so then I've got x plus 5 on bottom. We will cross off anything that's on top and bottom. So I've got x plus 5 over x plus 5, and I've got x plus 3, x plus 3. So the only things that are left are x minus 5 and times x plus 3. There is no fraction left. All right, before we're done, I do want to talk about these. If you were actually solving, the denominators cannot be 0. So 8y to the 6 cannot be 0. And so quickly, I'll solve for y. Y cannot be 0. Kind of a side note, but it will help later. Okay, number 5, the denominator cannot be 0, so we've got x plus 2 cannot be 0. Solve for x. X cannot be negative 2. Again, a side note, but will help later. Number 6, the denominator cannot be 0. 2x can't be 0. Divide by 2. X can't be 0. And then number 7, there was no denominator, so this would work for all real numbers.